Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we have Daniel on the podcast. Super excited to have another real estate podcast. We're going to talk about what he's doing to succeed in this market, where things are going, a little bit about the market, and looking forward to it. So let's get into this. Daniel, introduce yourself, man.
Sweet.
Tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Yep.
And
So,
let's get into it.
I'll look in the camera. Or
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
So my name is Daniel Ros. I'm with Real Broker currently. I got licensed in November of 2023. I joined the broker in December of 23. So really got my feet wet January of 2024. So I'm in my first year, or actually going on my second year. It's my first year as a full-time agent.
So we've talked about this before at lunch and stuff, but you were initially running a business. So talk a little bit about that and like how that what was that transition like?
Yeah, so prior to going in full-time, I was helping out with the family business. My background, I come from a long line of entrepreneurs, so naturally I had, that pioneer spirit. That's kind of led me into real estate and, basically build my brand and build my business. But the family business is donut shops. It's been in the family since, I was born.
Wow.
So we had donut shops in Exeter, Fresno, Lancaster.
What donut shops in Fresno, man? It was
So it's just Donut Star here in
Donut Star. Okay,
Yep, but then we recently sold that about 6-7 months ago.
gotcha.
So it's Donut Star on Shaw and Clovis. It's now Judy's Donuts.
Was there multiple donut stars or
No,
just the one?
no.
Just the one.
Just that one. But that one's been there forever.
So if you've been to Donut Star, you've been to Daniel's.
Yeah.
Restaurant there.
Yep. And so, during the pandemic, I quit my corporate job. I was a mid-level to senior level corporate manager for a Fortune 500 company all through my 20s.
What company was it?
CarMax.
Oh, okay.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Oh, yeah. We've talked about this.
Yeah. So I started in Fresno. I was able to move around and see different places, do different things with the company. So I'm forever grateful for that. So Fresno, Bakersfield, West Phoenix, East Phoenix, San Jose, and then that was the last of it. So
Sick, man. So with the CarMax, you were in car sales, and then you kind of like worked
no, I was in operations.
operations. Okay.
Yep. So I overseeing the logistics from when the cars come in to the final product to where it goes on the front lot.
How did you get into that? Like, how did you get into
I
that?
started off as a part-time associate detailing cars in 07, 18 years old.
Wow.
And
Okay.
just worked my way up. So
Sick, man.
yeah, and I was going to school during that time, but I was getting promoted every so often. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna stop going to school and just pursue this.
They've kind of simplified car sales and everything. at
Yep.
CarMax, huh?
Yep,
It's
yep.
pretty, I don't know, when I see that business and I look at all the car dealerships, it's like they're like the Amazon almost of cars. Dude.
Right.
You know?
Yep,
Super
streamlined.
You can literally just take your car in there and boom, you're going to get an instant offer.
It's an offer, and they'll cut you a check right there.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's pretty quick, huh?
Yep.
And they don't, like, I don't know, sometimes there's a lot of haggling and stuff at other dealerships.
there's no-
and CarMax, they don't haggle, huh?
No haggle. Yeah, and a lot of these other dealerships are kind of following that lead as well.
So you can't even haggle a car.
At CarMax, no.
Really?
The price is the price.
Are they already to the very bottom, or are they making margin on it?
I'm sure there's a margin.
They're still making
Yeah, it's
something.
just I don't think it's like a crazy margin to your traditional dealerships.
Got it.
So, but I think it's more about quantity because I think they're over like 250 stores. They sell a lot of cars.
They're volume based, man. I feel like we can learn something from businesses like that, like
Yep.
Amazon and CarMax. Like, if you make it easy for a consumer, they're
Yeah,
gonna want to work
for
with you.
sure.
Like, the easier, the better, man.
Yeah.
You know, people want to push the easy button.
Yep.
And even if they, let's say, go to CarMax and maybe they could have sold it private party or
Yeah.
taken it to another dealership and got 1,000, 2,000, whatever more.
Yeah.
It's like easy button.
Yeah, and I see that with real estate. It's like it should be more streamlined, more simplified. It's like, we should know what to expect, but there's a lot of negotiation in between, during escrow to where, things could go left or right. But if we're able to streamline that, I think it'll make industry a little bit more efficient. So
100%, dude.
yeah,
100%. So, and then you transitioned from that to
helping out the family business. So
into real estate, and that's how you ended up in real estate. Also.
yeah. But just to take it back real quick, so we're in Arizona. They needed me in up north Bay Area in California. The wife and the kids they wanted to come back home to Fresno, so moving back to Fresno, and then I was up in San Jose and Fremont. Come home on the weekends, and so I got tired of that. Living out of a suitcase, hotels, Airbnb, and things like that. So pandemic happened, everything shut down, and at that point, I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's a good time for me to just pivot and stay home, help out the family with the family business.
So that's when you, and then like, who got you into getting your real estate license?
So I was 18.
Oh,
I
you've had
took
it for a while then.
so I took the classes, had my credentials since I think '07, and they're still valid till today.
Wow.
And so I didn't have to retake any courses or anything like that. I just had to study and take the exam.
Nice. So you're ready to lock in.
Yeah, but it was my third time taking it. I was telling Jake, like, I had my credentials. I just never did anything with it. I waited about 5 years before I decided to try to take the exam, but I didn't study, didn't do any of that. So it's like when I had a bad day at work, I'm like, what, let me go take my real estate license.
Yeah.
And then so, but this third time, I'm like, let me just really take it seriously, study, and take the test. Take the test. So
Gotcha, dude. And then, I mean, now you're crushing it. Like, so let's kind of get into a little bit about like your business, how you're getting business.
yeah.
So what are you doing to grow your business right now? A lot of it is referral. A lot of it's just people that know you and who you are and trust you.
I
Tell
think
us
it's a little bit about a little bit of that. It's a little bit of everything. The first year I was hosting a lot of open houses,
Okay.
and that worked as well. So I think everything works. It's just depending on the quality of what you do, and improving on what you do. Right. So if you're gonna do cold calling, you gotta focus on getting better at your scripts, better at closing, setting appointments. If you're doing open houses, what's the experience like for visitors? And so first year I did open house. That worked out. I had a couple of deals from that. I had some referrals, and then expired listings. So this year I'm really focusing on listings and I'm going after expireds.
Gotcha. So I mean, you have a list of expired listings and you're getting on the phone and getting after it.
Yep. So I try to dedicate anywhere between 2 and 3 hours each morning, calling
Go.
expireds. Yep.
So do you do that between like 9 and
9 and 11,
9
9,
and 11?
11:30.
I know that's kind of
Sometimes
for me,
12.
like, I feel like the best hours to make calls.
Yeah. I
know?
think eight's a little too early. I mean, me personally, if someone's calling me at 7 in the morning, I'm pissed off.
Yeah.
And so I give them a little bit of time to wake up. So
Yeah, I feel like too, real estate in a lot of sense doesn't even start till 10 some
Yeah.
days. You know what I mean?
Yep,
Like
yep.
my phone doesn't really start blowing up until about 10 to 11.
10. Yep.
And that's
Yep.
when everybody's calling me on their escrows and everybody's
Right.
calling me on everything. So, yeah, I could see that for
Yeah.
sure.
So if you're calling like 9 to 11, and then you could service your other escrows and stuff like that in the afternoon. So
Handle your clients and stuff. So you're doing expired listings. And then are you doing any sort of marketing with like online websites or anything like that, or just
not yet. I'm looking into it.
you are looking into that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they're definitely helpful. I mean, it's not cold calling because they're maybe a little bit warmer if it's from like
Yeah.
Zillow or something like
Right.
that.
Right.
But man, there's agents out there that I know too that like shout out to Oscar Mata, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to
Well,
Oscar.
I don't know him personally, but
He's
yeah,
a
I see
good
him
dude,
around.
man. I feel like you guys would get along really well. But shout out to him, like, dude, he's freaking like 100% referral based,
Nice.
crushing it, and he has built it on social media, and then just like kind of what you're talking about, right? Like the customer experience and making sure that the client's really well taken care of.
Right.
So
Yeah, I mean that's how you get your referrals, right? So just
ultimately, it's that piece too. I feel like sometimes in this industry, people can lose track of that a little bit.
yeah,
It's like they get all these new deals, and then they forget to like, okay, well, now I got to take care of the people that are actually in escrow. Because if you do a really good job with those people, they're going to refer you,
yep,
and then all of a sudden you create this big database of people that just know, like, and trust you.
yep,
And then you're just creating a real business that's just like referral based at that point.
yeah.
That's where I'm trying to get.
Yeah, so I had a client last year, helped her buy her house, and then she referred a coworker. I got them their first home, and then they referred their other coworker, and then we just closed on one, I think, couple weeks ago.
Nice.
So
That is
just trying to
sick.
keep that ball rolling.
Yeah, that's sick, dude. I feel like that makes a huge difference. Um, so like going into the next thing, like what are your goals this next year to grow your business? What are you seeing over the next like 2 years in the market that you think is going to happen?
Going into 2026,
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
I think
20.
just continue to build on to what I've established and just kind of poke holes at it, see where I can improve on it. Just get more disciplined. I told you I'm doing 2 to 3 hours calling every morning, but
Right.
some mornings I do miss, or sometimes I'm a little sluggish. So just trying to stay motivated throughout the year. Like January 1st, like dude, I was hyped up, ready to go. And then it kind of gets a little crazy. So then you have to just kind of get back into it. So like right now, the kids are off from summer vacation, so it kind of throws things off a little bit. So I have to kind of just relook at my schedule, and then just get back into a
It's yeah, dude.
habit.
It's hard when the kids are off like
Yeah, yeah.
that. And your kids, they're going to school over
Yep,
here.
yep, all
Are
three of
they in
them.
middle, high
So
school?
we got one in high school. So there's three total, two stepsons, and then we have a little girl together.
Okay.
One's going into he's gonna be a junior.
Okay.
One's going into junior high, 7th grade, and
Okay.
then the little one, she's getting into 2nd grade. So
Oh wow.
super active. They're all in sports, basketball mainly.
Okay.
And so the little one, she's ready to go too. So
Nice. She loves basketball.
yeah, yeah,
Want to play?
yep, yep.
Yeah, that's sick, dude. Yeah, I feel like
Yeah, yesterday. I'm sorry. Yesterday, she was like,
you're
"Yeah, can you
good.
take me to the park?" I'm trying. I need to get faster. I need to get better. I'm like, "All right, yeah, let's go."
Dang, dude, she's got that freaking Kobe mentality
Yeah,
already.
yep.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, I feel like you're on point with that. Some mornings are not as good.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, it's like that's when we got to kind of get gritty and make it happen.
yep,
But then too, there's that fine line where it's like, okay, those times with your daughter going and playing basketball with her
yeah,
are worth everything. You
Yep,
know what I mean? That's worth more than an extra deal.
Yeah, yeah.
Guaranteed, because those are the things that she's going to remember
yep,
and that you're going to remember
Yeah.
ultimately. So I had to make that mindset shift because, dude, for the first like, I feel like 3 years of my oldest,
yeah.
all I did was work.
Just grind it out. Yeah.
All I did was work. I mean, I hung out with him too, but it wasn't
Yeah.
like. I remember.
You have two kids?
I have two.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember in our house, we had the newborn, Malachi, and my wife was teaching at the time too,
Okay.
and she like was super upset with me, bro, because I was just like working,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and like I was not helping that much,
Right,
you know.
right.
And so I feel like over the past like year or two,
Mm-hmm.
I've made like a definite like mindset shift,
Yeah,
and I'm like, dude, like I don't have to work 20 hours a day.
yeah,
I can really lock in and do the things that really move the needle
Yeah,
forward and
yeah.
matter. Because in this industry, I think people spend a lot of time doing shit that's not actually doing anything.
right, right.
It's like,
That's
dude,
not actually moving the needle. It's just
dude.
Yeah.
Ultimately, man, we're in a sales industry. It's like contacts, shaking hands, kissing babies, creating
Yep.
relationships, and doing a good job.
yeah,
Like those are the main things, and you can do all the other stuff. But especially I'm not sure as much on the realtor side. But I can tell you from experience, like on the loan officer side and knowing loan officers, they spend their time at their computer, like feeling like they're doing something productive,
yeah.
but they're not.
Moving the mouse around.
Yeah, exactly, dude. They're like, oh, I'm looking at the market, or I'm like sending these emails.
No, yeah, I get. Yeah,
Or-
sometimes I'm on the MLS. I'm like, what am I even looking at? Right
Yeah,
now,
yeah, exactly. It's like, dude, I could be like with my kids, or I could be at jujitsu, or I could
Yeah,
be doing
yeah.
this. So I've had to make that like shift in my head, you know, to
But I
not
think
be
those-
so focused on it.
The
Yeah.
2-3 years was important, right? So that now you
true.
can kind of draw back now a little bit.
That is true. Yeah, you
Right.
kind of have to. You do have to have like that elbow grease. But I also think I didn't know what I didn't know, and
Right.
I was just like taking a machine gun and like shooting everywhere, like trying to
Yeah,
make
yeah.
something happen, right?
Right,
Because you're
right.
like, I had a newborn baby. I didn't have a college degree. This was my
just
only
had to make it
option,
happen,
and
yeah.
I was like, I got to make this shit happen.
Yeah,
So I was
yeah.
just doing whatever I could to try to make it happen. But looking back, like I feel like if I had better mentors in my life, like
Mm-hmm.
if I was with Jeremy at the time or like another mentor, they would have been able to like, hey, dude, like just focus on these things,
Yeah,
and these things will move the needle forward.
yeah,
You know, you don't have to do all this crazy shit that you're trying to do.
yeah.
But
I think it's good though that you went through that. You know what I mean? Because you had to, take the stairs, right? So that you
Yeah.
could. So when you're mentoring other people, you could kind of pass that along. Because if you're told, "Hey, don't do this," then you're gonna be left curious, like, well, why not do this? And so I think it's important that you went through it. So
Real man. I was just talking to Jeremy about this yesterday. How like he for the first like 15 years he freaking grinded, but then like he created a system and a team that kind of was able to help him, and like he's kind of passed that information along to me, and he's like, yeah, dude, like you get to skip all the bullshit.
yeah,
Like feeling like you have to do all this crazy shit for 20 years.
yeah,
You can just do this now
right,
and grow it more like methodically.
right,
If that makes sense. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. But yeah.
yeah. I think it's the mindset. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 100%.
So
Yeah. But yeah, man, we're getting my oldest in jiu-jitsu,
oh, nice.
and he's loving it, dude.
How old?
He's 5.
5 and
5 and 3.
okay. Oh, nice. Getting him in at 5. That's good.
Yeah, dude. So he's like, I'll show you some videos after, but he's really getting into it, and
Yeah.
like, it's kind of cool because he hasn't really been excited about anything like that.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned your daughter with the basketball, right?
Yeah.
She like wants to go and get better. That's how he is, dude. He's like, the other day we were driving there, and he had gone to Wild Waters. My wife took him to Wild
Okay.
Waters, so he was dead.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. And he's like falling asleep in the back. I'm like, dude, like, you sure you want to go to jiu-jitsu, bro? Like, it's all good. Like, you can go to sleep at
Yeah,
home
you can
or
take a
whatever.
break, yeah.
And he's like, Dad, I want to go. Wake me up when I get there.
Heck yeah.
I'm like, let's go.
What do you think, guys? You think I could take him? Or
Yeah. So I told him, I was like, hey, all right, bud, we're here. Get up. And I was thinking he was going to be like, yeah, exactly. I thought he was going to be like all, complaining and not wanting to go. And he just wakes up. He's like, all right, I just need a moment. This is what he said, bro. I was like, this is so profound, man, for a 5-year-old. He said, I just need a moment to relax for a minute, to calm down, Dad, and then I'll be ready. So we get into the jiu-jitsu gym, and I get him on the mat, and I was like, all right, buddy, let's go. He's like, hold on, Dad, I'm calming down. And he just sits there for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the class starts. I'm like, all right, buddy, your class is starting. He's like walks over there.
Oh,
like,
man, he's going to be a
oh,
savage.
man. Let's go.
That's cool. So,
yeah,
and so they're going to be homeschooled, yeah?
They're homeschooled right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
Because, there's a lot that you miss not going to school, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we asked our daughter, like, hey, you sure you want to go to school? We'll homeschool you. She's like, yeah, she wants to go to school. She has to see her friends. So I'm like, all right, whatever.
I get it, man.
Best I can.
Yeah, so Daniel, what is an expired listing? I know you're calling on them. What made you make that transition, and what is an expired listing for people that don't know?
Yeah, so again, this year I'm trying to go after listings. Last year was all on the buy side. I want to help on the sell side. Expired listings. So whenever you list a home, right, you typically put it for anywhere from 90 to whatever it is. So expired listing is a listing that basically just went stale, and it ultimately did not sell within that time period that they were given, and so. That's when I come in, reach out, ask some discovery questions to see, what were some of their pain points and what happened ultimately, and find out why their home didn't sell. From there, I'll try to provide them a solution.
Gotcha. And what made you make the transition into getting into expired listings versus like FSBOs or any other ones?
So I spent a lot of time watching Brandon Morenin. I don't know if you've heard of him. So he has a great YouTube channel, and that's his whole thing is expired listings. So
really,
he does coaching as well, and so he'll do it live too. So I'm able to see some of those live calls. And so when I was at the donut shop baking, I would just put on his videos, and while I'm baking, I was just listening. So every single day, I'm just soaking it all in.
So you're literally just like putting it in your head.
Yep. Yeah, I'm talking to myself. I'm, going over scripts and stuff like that.
So what does that look like? Like when you call an expired listing and their listing obviously expired, some of them probably still want to sell the house. Some of them probably gave up.
Yep.
So when they still want to sell the house, but maybe they're a little apprehensive to use a realtor, like what do you say? How do you overcome that?
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah. And we can cut it out too. But
yeah.
Like, how do you overcome it when, like, let's say they give you an objection, like, hey man, like, I don't want to talk to you about this, and you're like,
Well, I mean, you get that a lot. I'm just
Yeah.
going to talk to people who actually you're willing to entertain that. I do need to get better at objection handling.
Gotcha.
And so you have your objections. So what I've done is I wrote all the objections that I'm getting on a whiteboard,
Okay.
and then I'm trying to create a script around that. So
Gotcha.
that's something I'm still working on.
So but that I think that's a smart tactic too. Like you're calling the people, and if they're like, "Man, I'm not interested," it's like, okay, well,
Yep, not
move on to the
interested.
next
That's
one.
one of them. Yeah, or no, thank you. Yeah, but I load it all on the dialer, so it's just on to the next one.
Gotcha.
Yep,
So you're
yep.
just next.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
And
So
then you get somebody that's interested. It's like, hey, cool, let's go talk.
set an
about this.
appointment.
It-
Just basically just listen to their pain points, see how I could provide a solution for them.
And what's usually like what? Why do they usually have an expired listing? The agent just didn't market it correctly. They didn't list it correctly, or
It could be marketing. A lot of times it's pricing. Could be priced too high. So I had one expired listing to where it was priced pretty high, and then the main picture, right? So the first thing you see is like two trees, and the house is behind it. You can't see the house. It's two trees. So I mean, how people shop nowadays on Zillow, and everything is digital. So first thing you look at is the picture, and then the price, right? So you see the picture, is this thing worth the price? Yes or no? No, they keep moving on. So if the picture and the marketing's not there, then they're just gonna pass along on it. So
you gotta have good pictures and
yeah,
video
yeah,
and all that
yeah.
in this.
Spend the money, do professional photography. So
And when they like listed too high, that's a lot of the times the seller, I'm sure.
yeah,
right,
it
where
could be
they're
both, but yeah, probably the seller. And I'll run some comps and run some numbers for them. Ask them how they came up with that price. See how they feel about my price. And so
Yeah, see, that's smart. Rather than like not attacking, but almost being like, "Hey, man, you're never gonna sell your house for that."
yeah, no, like hey, help me understand how you
Yes.
came
Yes.
to that price point.
Yeah, so you can kind of see what they're thinking, like how they're in their
Yeah.
head with it, and then you're like, "Okay, well, let me show you where I'm at."
Yeah, or hey, can I offer a recommendation? And then
Or yeah,
I'm
can
not
I
telling
off-
you what to do. I'm
Can
just
I offer
offering.
you a recommendation?
Yeah, or can I offer you my expert opinion or whatever it is.
Gotcha.
So
And then they react pretty good to that. I'm
yeah,
guessing.
yeah. I'll tell them, hey, I'm gonna be in your area, at X time tomorrow. Would you mind if I stop by 10, 15 minutes? While I'm there, I could give you, my expert opinion on what I think your house could sell for, and what strategies me and my team are using to get homes sold. So, and then I'll give them some, some stats and some facts and stuff like that.
Gotcha. Like,
Yep.
yeah, lay it all out. Show them with actual like
Yep.
education.
Yeah.
We do that on the loan side too, right? Because interest rates are like, I mean, price for you guys is probably an objection. For us, it's interest rates.
Yep. Yep.
And man, I've just realized doing this for a while now. A lot of loan officers really focus and freak out about interest rate, but it's like, dude, if somebody wants a cheaper rate, they're going to find a cheaper rate.
Yeah.
They can go online. They can
Yep.
go to a credit union. They can do all this.
Right.
If they want the service, if they want the expert advice, if they want that, then they can use us. But sometimes, like, you're just going to get those people that are all about price.
Yeah.
And you can't overcome that, I think, sometimes, and some salespeople say, yeah, you can overcome it. I think was like the industry that we're in, the numbers are so big, it's not like they're just buying something smaller, right? The numbers are so big
Yeah.
that it's like if their mind is only set on this piece, you can't change it sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's when you
Rightfully
just
so,
move- yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's when you just move on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because everyone's financial situation's different. You know what I mean? So I get it.
Yeah, that's huge, man. What do you think? What do you think about the market, man? You think rates are going to come down next year, or what do you?
I mean, yeah, I would think so. Just because it's all the way, when it's so low, they say it can only go up. I think it's so high. I think at some point it can only go down. But once interest rates drop, what happens with home prices?
It's gonna be
shoot up. Yeah.
gonna be crazy, dude. And I saw somebody post on ChatGPT, or they asked ChatGPT what they thought interest rates were going to be. Mm-hmm. It was pretty interesting, dude.
What did it say?
They literally said that rates are going to be 5% next year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like it showed a full chart like going down with
Yeah.
rates. Yeah,
If that happens, then
yeah.
I fully trust ChatGPT.
That's a pretty high likelihood, dude. Yeah,
5% sounds good.
Yeah.
Right now.
bro. If it's 5%. If it's 5%, we're not going to be chilling. We're going to be so freaking busy, bro. That
Yeah.
we're going to be like,
It's
holy
gonna
crap.
be wild.
Yeah, no, it's. I remember last time, in 21, like it's so weird because I was kind of in a market similar to this when I was first in the industry, like 2018, 2019. I was brand new, and the market was like good, but it was sluggish. It was definitely better than it is now, right? Right now is a little bit like we have a little bit slowness going on, but then like when rates came down in like 2020 and 2021, they started coming down. It's like you think it's like you have to do more marketing. You think you have to make more calls. But literally, bro, it just picked up like you could like I was drinking out of a freaking fire hose, dude.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't even get to everybody.
Yeah.
At one point we had 60 plus escrows in the pipeline with me and one assistant.
Nice.
It wasn't nice, bro. Like, we were like balls were being dropped, I'll tell you
Yeah.
that, because I didn't have the system in place yet to even handle that level of
but
business.
That's where you design
Yeah.
your systems, right?
Yes.
So again, you had to. I'm sorry. So you had to go through that again. So
Yeah, you had to learn. Yeah, I had to learn the hard way on that.
yeah. So I for the first this year I got super busy with maybe 5 or 6 escrows in 1 month, which was cool for me. But I'm like, holy shit, how do I don't have any systems in place, but this is where I put them in place. You know what I
Hell
mean?
yeah.
So that it doesn't happen the next time. So,
Yeah.
but in 2018, 2019, that's when you started.
That's about when I started, yeah.
Okay, and then were people talking about interest rates as much as they do now?
I feel like it's always a topic.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I feel like people focus so much on interest rates, like,
Yeah.
unfortunately,
Yeah, I didn't really know anything about interest rates when I bought my first couple homes. And I was just like,
you-
this is monthly payments? All right, cool.
That's exactly how I think, man. Like I've never been one, unless I'm getting like ripped off, but I've never been one to like go haggle the shit out of somebody.
Yeah.
If I go into a car dealership and they offer me a pretty fair deal, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. I'm not gonna go shop 5 other people.
Right,
I'm just
right.
like, hey, what are you doing? Okay, cool, let's move on.
That's how I bought my home in, when I moved to Arizona, because I didn't want to have to move the family over to rent and then move again, right? So the company, they sent me out to Arizona so I could do some home shopping, and I basically made my decision, found a home and bought a home in like a day. So I went there. I'm shopping around new construction. Hey, do you have anything ready now? No. Do you have anything ready now? No. Went to the next one. They said, yeah, we have something ready in 2 weeks. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'll take it.
That's good. That's
I mean, like if the monthly payments make sense, I can afford it. Cool. And I
That's-
think it was maybe at like 3.5 during the time. Which
oh yeah, rates were good.
no, I'm
then.
sorry. No, I think it was like
4.5?
4.25.
Yeah, 4.25.
It was
Dude,
at
if we
four
got-
and a quarter.
I think if we go down to 5, things are gonna take off so crazy. If we were down to the 4s again, man.
Oh man.
I mean, I just think about refinancing my investment portfolio. Like that would be crazy good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 'Cause it's all in high.
Yeah, because I have them all in 7% plus rates.
Wow.
So if I could get those down 2 or
Huge
3%,
savings, yeah,
that
you
would
start
be
cash flowing.
Oh, dude, yeah, it'd be awesome. But man, if you have to leave, like if you had to leave a new agent with something, let's say they're new or even they're experienced, what would you leave them with?
I'd probably say just pick one thing, pick one avenue, and then kind of go down that road. Learn it, learn everything, learn all about it before you move on to the next thing. So,
Dude, I love that because there's so many different ways to do business, like
Yep.
leads, referrals, social media, all this stuff. It's like, okay, pick one lane,
Yep.
figure it out, make money from it, and then move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Nice.
Cool. Daniel, thank you for coming on, brother.
Yep, thanks
I
for having me.
appreciate it. This is hella fun, dude, and we'll have to do it again.
Yep.
And yeah,
Cool, man.
appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, Daniel.